What's unique about Michigan by the Bottle is that we have 15 winery owners located all around the state, which is lovely because people can come into Michigan by the Bottle and try wines from every region in the state. We will bring in the winery owners and representatives of the wineries to conduct tastings, to do wine and food events. So you actually get to meet the owners and get to know their stories.
Welcome back to the ROCC Pod. I am John Gay from Jag Podcast Productions.
I am Lisa Bibby, your realtor with Century 21 Northland.
I hope you are thirsty because today we have Taylor Simpson with us from Michigan by the Bottle, where they showcase exclusive wines made right here in Michigan.
Hello, how are you?
Good to be with you.
Thank you for having me. It's truly an honor.
Whoa, John. So I'm excited to talk wine, but first I've got to ask Taylor, how did you find yourself riding an ostrich in South Africa? We've got to hear this story.
So we're hopping right into it, aren't we? Well, apparently ostrich farms are a thing and a big thing in South Africa, and went to visit an ostrich farm while there. Learned a lot about ostriches, and they had the opportunity. They said, does anybody here want to ride an ostrich? And I said, sure, why not? You had to be under a certain weight limit, and they had guides there who would steady them so you could get on.
Was there a saddle or is this bareback?
Bareback. Oh, yeah. Good question. And then once you were on and you gave them the go-ahead, they took off the bag off its head and off it went.
And you're just hanging on for dear life.
Well, I mean, how fast do they go in reality? Probably not that fast. How fast does it feel when you're sitting on it? Very fast.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I would imagine they don't have a very smooth gait. Like it's pretty bouncy.
Yeah, you just got to wrap your legs around their wings. And then you don't really have much to hold on to on their neck, if you can imagine.
Yeah, I would feel like I was going to choke them.
Yeah. So, no, it was a pretty wild experience. Once in a lifetime.
I feel like that could be its own podcast. But
I know, seriously.
Let's get down to business here.
Yes, let's talk about wine.
Absolutely. So, as many, if not all of our listeners know, Michigan makes some really amazing wines. I know, for example, my wife did her bachelorette party up in Traverse City. Give us the backstory of Michigan by the Bottle and how it came to be, Taylor.
Well, Michigan by the Bottle was actually started back in 2012. So it's been around for quite some time. The origin story of Michigan by the Bottle, it was two previous owners who decided that they loved Michigan wine and they wanted to blog about it. And so they wrote a blog. They also started to really become active on Facebook and Facebook Live, and they would talk about the wineries that they had visited. And they had such outreach from so many Michigan residents who also had a love of Michigan wine. And a lot of people in the greater Detroit area that after they built a certain base of customers, if you will, or those who were interested in Michigan wine, they actually decided to open their first location in Shelby Township in 2012. And they brought in small producers that weren't represented for the most part outside of their tasting room. And people could come in and try all these wines, without having to make the 3 to 5 hour drive to the tasting room. They could enjoy them right in their backyard. So from there, the excitement grew and they opened more locations. I believe Royal Oak was the next location that they opened. Following that, they opened Auburn Hills. And I think that was in 2017. Really built a business and a community of Michigan wine lovers, which is amazing.
Well, as you mentioned, Royal Oak, Auburn Hills, and Shelby Township all have tasting rooms. And it looks like on the calendar on your website that it is packed. So can you tell us a little bit about the different types of events that you host?
Yeah, absolutely. So we obviously do some wine-focused events. What's unique about Michigan by the Bottle is that we have 15 winery owners located all around the state, which is lovely because people can come into Michigan by the Bottle and try wines from every region in the state. We will bring in the winery owners and representatives of the wineries to conduct tastings, to do wine and food events. So you actually get to meet the owners and get to know their stories, which a lot of people love. And we love to come in and talk with the customers. In addition to the wine-focused events, we like to offer a lot of different types of experiences. We just did a sourdough event where people could come and learn how to make sourdough and try a bunch of different wines while they were doing it. We're having a Galentine's event with permanent jewelry, and they get to taste wines with that event too. So it really is a mix. There is something for everybody. And we just really want people who are curious about wine and about community and meeting new people to come and gather for lots of different reasons.
Sourdough definitely had a moment during COVID. Now I'm curious, what kind of wine pairs best with sourdough?
All of them.
Yes is the answer to that question.
Hey, John, I want to back up just for a moment because I don't think we touched on exactly what your role is with the company, Taylor.
I am one of the owners. My brother and myself are co-owners. We partnered with two other winery owners, a father and son team, Paul and Jeff Hamlin. They own Viterra Winery. And my brother and I, we own Good Harbor Vineyards and Aurora Cellars. And we loved the concept of Michigan by the Bottle. It's a unique business in the state. There's nothing else like it. And so we had the opportunity to let the previous owners know that we were interested in purchasing it. It seemed to come together. So we're really excited to be able to keep Michigan by the Bottle open and growing and thriving. In fact, we're opening a new location in Lake Orion, which is exciting.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So we talked about the pack calendar, all these events you do. Tell us about the wine club you offer too.
Yeah. So we revamped the wine club when we purchased Michigan by the Bottle to make it incredibly consumer friendly. It is a customizable club. So members can sign up and they can pick any wines that they want. They also get benefits every time they visit, discounts on the wine that they buy, discounts on the flights or the glasses. They get special pricing to events. Actually, we're doing a trip, believe it or not, for members where they're coming up to the Leelanau Peninsula on the 31st, which we're so excited. They get to stay at the homestead and we're curating special events at the winery just for them. So that was really exciting to have those customers jump on board and, want something unique and special that they can't get anywhere else.
So I lived in the Leelanau Peninsula, and it is phenomenal how many vineyards are up there and how many places you can go tour. How do you actually choose the vineyards? And if you are a Michigan winery, how do they reach out to you to be featured in your club?
That is a great question. Not all, but most of the partners who are there today were existing Michigan by the Bottle wineries. There were a couple wineries that were added from southwestern Michigan. Good Harbor and Aurora were not originally wineries there, so it was new for us. But what our goal was to try to offer a diverse segment of wines from all of the AVAs, which are American Viticultural Association. It designates a specific wine growing region. We wanted to make sure we had enough wineries from all of those to give consumers the ability to experience what Michigan wine tastes like from every different region. If they wanted to focus on the Leelanau Peninsula, they can do that. If they wanted to compare the Leelanau Peninsula against Old Mission, against Fenville, they can do that under one roof, which you really can't do many places. So we thought that was a unique proposition.
I've got to ask, because the geography of this fascinates me, because it's the 45th parallel that's halfway between the equator and the North Pole is roughly that Leelanau Peninsula, like give or take a little bit.
It's right there.
Yeah, what is it about the climate in that area that makes for such great wine?
So when you're wanting to grow wine, typically in the Northern Hemisphere, you have to be between 30 latitude and 50. So 50 is as far north as you can go. Obviously, we are located right at the 45th parallel. If you take the 45th parallel all the way around the world, you're going to hit regions like Willamette Valley in Oregon. You're going to hit Piedmonte in Italy. It's going to go through Bordeaux. That's a little further south and warmer, but you're going to hit regions near Ontario. So you're going to hit a lot of wine growing regions. So the 45th parallel is important. I would say what's probably more important than that is the fact that we have Lake Michigan right next to us. If we didn't have Lake Michigan, all the grapes would freeze every winter. But Lake Michigan actually allows the temperature to remain fairly moderate. And this is the thing that always shocks people who don't know Michigan, even people who do know Michigan, is that the snowfall is actually critical because what it does is it covers the vines and it insulates them in case more so when we get a frost, because we get a frost almost every year, and it protects them. It acts like a blanket. And so once the frost hits, the snow melts, the vines wake up in the spring, and they've been protected through that winter cold.
And there's also ice wine, which actually works off of the fact that everything is freezing and it's snowy and it's cold. So it's really phenomenal if you haven't tried ice wine.
We actually have an ice wine event that's happening at Michigan by the Bottle with Mackinac Island Winery at the end of January, I believe. I don't know the date off, but it's on the website at events.
That leads me to my next question. I'm sure choosing a wine is probably like, choosing your favorite child. So I won't ask you to pick a favorite wine, but give me a bottle or even two that you think listeners may not have heard of, might be a little under the radar that might surprise them.
I'm going to pick one that we produce because it's not really easy to pronounce, though it is one of the most popular in our portfolio. It's called Blaufränkisch.
Okay.
Blaufränkisch.
Blaufränkisch, yes. There's actually quite a few wineries producing it. We do produce it at Aurora, and it's produced by the name of the actual grape is called Lemberger, and it's fantastic. It's dry. It's got great tannin. It's kind of got some blueberry and black pepper on the finish, but it's not always the easiest to remember the name.
I'm going to remember that one.
Now you are.
Can you spell it for us?
It's Blaufränkisch. I feel like I'm in a spelling bee.
Like she had to look up as she did it to make sure she got it right. That's a tricky one.
Yes. That's one. What is another one? Gosh, we sell so many wines. How about Gruner Veltliner? I don't know if people have heard of Gruner Veltliner. That is a white grape that's grown and produced widely throughout Austria and parts of Germany. However, our growing climate is really similar to parts of Austria and Germany. And so we can grow a lot of the same varieties. Modales is a producer who we feature. They're in Southwest in Fenville, and they produce a lovely Gruner Veltliner as well. So yeah, there's everything from Chardonnay and Pinot Grigio and Riesling, those that you hear all the time, to really more boutique niche varieties that you can come and discover and experience for the first time, which honestly is the fun.
Absolutely.
All I can say is I'm getting very thirsty hearing about all these.
I was just thinking this. We're releasing this on a Thursday, but full disclosure, we're recording this at noon on a Friday. So my brain is going right there too, Lisa.
Well, and we love that you're a part of the Royal Oak Chamber. So tell us a little bit about your experience with the Royal Oak Chamber so far.
It has been amazing. Honestly, when I first reached out, the rate of the response was so fast. They were saying, how can we support you? What information do you need? We want to welcome you to the community. How can we help you participate? And it has been so positive. Cannot believe that we didn't become part of the Royal Oak Chamber sooner. And I think we became members maybe 3 months after we had opened. And I was like, why didn't we do this right away? It's only because we were so busy getting open, but it's an amazing community and a truly fantastic organization.
We'd love to hear that. All right, it is now time for our Fishbowl question of the day, where we ask you a totally random question that you are not prepared for. So, Lisa, would you please pull today's Fishbowl question?
Yes, dig in here. All right. What would you name your yacht if you had one?
Oh, if I had well, I guess my first initial response would be Money Pit.
What do they say? The best 2 days of the day you buy your boat and the day you sell your boat?
You're not the only one naming your boat that.
But it would have to have some wine-themed, like the Crusher or something like that, something wine-related.
Like
As a boat owner, I wouldn't think you'd want to name it the Crusher.
I guess when I hear that, I think more so like crushing grapes.
Yeah.
How about like Uncorked or something?
Oh, I like that too. Yeah. Usually what I would do is I would open a bottle of wine and have a glass and then just start to write down my ideas as, they started to come to me.
It's a great way. If you're ever stuck, open a bottle of wine and have a glass of wine, and all of a sudden the ideas start flowing.
It gets those creative juices rolling.
Once the wine starts flowing, the ideas soon follow.
I love it. It's true.
Taylor, how can listeners best get in touch with you and the team at Michigan by the Bottle?
Well, they can certainly reach out to us via tasting room at michiganbythebottle.com. Visit our website. We have a contact form that will send their inquiry directly to michiganbythebottle.com, and they can certainly stop into any location.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Taylor. I'm excited to try all these new wines. I mean, I'm a wine connoisseur, and you definitely named off a couple that I've never heard of. My name is Elisa Bibby, and I'm a realtor with Century 21 Northland. I put the real back in realtor. We want you to love where you live. Questions about buying or selling your home? Call my cell at 248-981-3610. My website is soldbylisab.com, and you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at soldbylisa. Let's connect.
And I am John Gay from Jag Podcast Productions. I'm the podcast guy. If you haven't started your podcast yet, maybe it's your 2026 New Year's resolution, reach out to me. You can find me on my website, JAG podcastproductions.com. The same on social as well. We want to thank you for listening to this episode of the ROCC Pod. It is produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. For more information about how to join the chamber, chamber events, and all that we have going on, you can visit royaloakchamber.com. I'm going to pour myself a glass and have a great weekend. Thanks, everybody.